In this video, we're going to look at how to read circle graphs. Example 1 asks us to find the ratio of baseball players to basketball players. So when you're looking at a circle graph, you'll be able to compare based on the size of the slices. They'll give you information. Sometimes they'll give you actual values of how many. A lot of times, circle graphs will give you percentages. In this circle graph, it tells you how many. So how many people prefer each sport. So this wants us to give the ratio of baseball players to basketball players. So how many people prefer baseball? So that's 15. And then how many people prefer basketball? Sorry, that's 20. So we're just going to simplify that fraction, that ratio. And so it's 3 to 4. That's all you got to do. Okay. And this one gives you percentages. It says the following graph shows the percent of visitors to the U.S. in a recent year by various regions. Use the circle graph to determine the percent of visitors who came to the U.S. from Mexico and Canada. So Mexico, 21%. Canada, 34%. And so if it wants to know the percent of both, I'm just going to add those two values together. And that gives me a total of 55%. Okay, same graph, same information. Now it says the U.S. Department of Commerce forecasts 81 million international visitors to the U.S. in 2017. Estimate the number of tourists that might be from Europe. Okay, so I've got 19%, and I need to figure out the number of tourists. So in our last one, we were still just finding the percent. I didn't know anything about how many. But here, I do. I know how many. I know that it's 81 million people. So I can take this percent and find an actual number, okay? So we know how to find percent and amount. So we know that the amount is equal to the percent times our base number, okay? So I'm finding the amount. My percent in this case is 19%. So that's 0.19. My base value is the amount of people. And I'm just going to multiply that out. So that leaves me with 15,390,000 people. So sometimes you'll find percentages, sometimes you will find actual values. Okay? This one just asks, who got the most votes? So we got different percentages here. So there were 700 votes. It doesn't ask me how many. It just says who got the most. So of those 700, Ann got 32%, Ming 25%, Matt 16, Lily 27. So based on our numbers, Ann got the most votes because Ann had the highest percentage. Okay, the next one. What percent of the votes did Ann and Ben receive together? So Ben got 24%, Ann got 18%. So together, 24, and 18 gives me a total of 42%. Two more. So this question says, what percent of the votes did John not get? So if John got 20% of the votes, and altogether it's 100%, well, that tells me that he only got 20. That leaves 80% left over. So that's one way to do a problem like this. Another way would have been to add up all of the other votes, which would have also added up to 80%. Last example, how many people voted for someone other than Ming? Okay, again, we could look at this the same way we did the last one. If Ming got 28% of the vote, and we want to know how many people voted for someone other than Ming, that means that percentage-wise, that leaves 72% did not vote for Ming. But this question does not ask us for the percentage. It asks us for how many people. So if there were 500 votes and 72%, we need to figure out how many people that is. So 0.72 times 500 gives us our total, which is 360 people. Now, another way you could have done this is you could have figured out how many people voted for Ming and subtracted that number from 500, and it would have been the same answer.